Good morning. We will start on our mats today in child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. Sit the hips back. Bring the forehead down. See if you can get it down to touch the mat. If you can't and it's lifted way up, you can always put a block or a blanket, whatever you have, something to bridge that gap between the forehead and the mat. It'll help you rest a little bit more. And if the knees are bothering you, lift the hips up. It's okay to lift the hips, especially to protect the knees. And you can always slide something behind the knees, like a blanket or a pillow, something that's long enough. If your knees are okay, then you pull the hips back toward the heels to get that length in the spine. You also get a little bit of a hip opening here too, with the big toes together and the knees apart. But the belly's still supported by the thighs. So, well, not the belly, sorry. The sides of the rib cage are supported by the thigh. The belly's falling between the thighs, giving you a little space to breathe. Take a big inhale in through the nose. Back out through the mouth. 2 more like that. Big breath in. Exhale out of the mouth, let it go. Last one. Deep breath in through the nose. Feel the back move on the inhale. Exhale out of the mouth, let it go. This time, Ujjayi breath. In through the nose. Back out through the nose. Keep going. So it's the same length of breath, inhale and exhale. It's just going in and out through the nose. And you're also listening to the sound of your own breath. So you should be able to hear it. But a person on the other side of the room shouldn't be able to hear it. Just as someone's really close to you. If it's too loud, then you run the risk of drying out the back of the throat, and we don't want to do that. You'll start to lift the head up. Come up to hands and knees, and let's bring the knees and the feet all the way together. So if you're okay with kneeling, sit back onto the heels and come to kneeling. You could also add a toe squat if you want to tuck the toes underneath you and get into the feet. You can do that. And if both of those aren't working, then you can sit on the mat however you're comfortable. And then from here, reach the arms forward. Bring the right arm on top of the left arm. And just grab the shoulders. Bring the elbows down toward the chest so they're way away from the face. And it's like you're trying to pull those shoulder blades apart, and the tops of the shoulders are moving away from the ears so that the back of the neck stays really long. And you're still with the same breath that we started with. And you're giving yourself a pretty tight squeeze to pull those shoulder blades apart. Then reach the arms forward, switch the crossing of the arms, left arm on top of right, grab for the shoulder blade, same thing. Elbows come down against the chest, shoulders move away from the ears, and you're trying to pull the scapula apart. Then bring the hands back down to the mat. So you're coming back to all fours. If you had the toes tucked, just tap the tops of the feet on the mat. Knees are going to be hip width distance apart. So they were all the way together before. Now they're not. And then from here, step the right toes back behind you. Fire up that right leg a little bit. You can also move. Let's open up the calf a little bit. So draw some circles on the ceiling with that right heel, especially since we had the leg bent the way that we did for so long. Then go the other way. And then switch sides. Right knee comes in, left foot steps back, and you're pushing back through that left heel and then drawing circles with that heel. Switch the direction. Bring that left knee back in. Come down onto your stomach. So lying down on the mat, on your stomach. Left forearm comes in front of the face, bend the right leg, reach back, see if that right foot's there. If it is, great. If it's not, skip it. You don't have to do it. The right knee stays right under the right hip. So a lot of times the right knee goes out to the right. Imagine if you were standing, the right knee would be right underneath the right hip. And from here, you can press down into the forearm and lift the chest up and get a little bit of a back bend. Just make sure that tailbone is pointing away from you, not going up toward the sky. So you keep the length in the lower back. And then as you bring that foot in, it's a pretty deep quad stretch on the right side. And you might even be getting a shoulder opening, depending on how your shoulders feel on that right side as you bring the foot in. And then gently release the right foot, switch sides. So right forearm comes in front of the face, bend the left leg, reach back, grabbing for the left foot. Make sure the left knee is going straight back, so not out to the left. Maybe you lift the chest up a little bit, just a really gentle back bend, not the deepest one. Gently release that left foot. Bring the hands back by the side ribs. So setting up for a baby cobra, tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. And your baby cobra might be a little bigger today because of that last quad stretch we just did. On the inhale, press into the tops of the feet, lift the chest. Elbows are bent no matter what. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale up, broaden across the chest and the collarbones. Exhale, release. Come up to hands and knees. So setting up for tabletop, hips right over the knees, shoulders right over the wrists. On the inhale, reach the heart forward, lift the tail. On the exhale, round the whole spine all the way down to the lower back. Keep going, cat-cow. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. One more cycle. Take your time, forward and back. Back to a neutral spine, tabletop. Step the right toes back behind you. Spin that right heel down flat. So left hand can go out to the left a little bit. This left foot, it can also go out to the left a little bit. That just gives you a wider base. Reach the right arm up to the sky. So you're in a modified side plank. You're pushing the mat away from you and reaching up with that right arm. Outer left hip hugs in a little bit. Maybe you start to lift the right leg, which will be a little bit easier if you move that left foot out to the left and that left foot out at the same time. And then you can stay like this, or you can reach back with the right arm, bend the right leg, pointing the toes, and see if the foot and the hand can connect. Don't force it. If it's right there, grab it. If not, just come back to modified side plank. If you have the foot, keep reaching the chest forward, hugging the belly in, pointing that knee away from you so you get a bit of a quad stretch. Right arm reaches back up, extend the right leg. So right back to where we started. Right hand comes back down to the mat. So does the right knee. So find tabletop, squaring it off. And then left toe step back. Spin that left heel down flat. Right hand can go out to the right. Right foot can go out to the right. A little kickstand. Left arm reaches up. Spread the arms out wide, pushing the mat away from you so you're not sinking down into the mat. And then start to press out through the left foot to lift the left leg. That left hip bone, it's pointing straight forward, so it's not going up toward the sky. Bend the left leg, reach back with the left arm, pointing the left toes, see if the foot's there, and then find that stretch. Quad gets long, heart moves forward. And the pubic bone's going to the tailbone and tailbone's going to the pubic bone. Gently release the foot with control. Reach that left arm up. Left hand comes back down to the mat. Left knee comes down to the mat. Bring the feet over to one side. Come to seated on the mat. So you'll bring the legs out in front of you. If you're way back, just scoot yourself forward so the hips are more in the center of the mat. And then from here with the feet on the mat, give yourself a big hug. So wrap the arms around the legs, the shins. And as you hug the legs in, you hug the core in at the same time. So it's like you're scooping the belly. And then see if you can lift the toes away from the mat. You'll need to come back a little bit, and that takes some balancing on the sacrum, but that's what we're trying to fight. You can kind of go too far forward and the feet will come down. You can kind of go too far back and you'll feel like, oh, whoa, you're going to go all the way back. So hugging the core in, reach the arms forward and then lift the legs, just the feet. So you can keep a bend in the legs. You're reaching the arms forward. So you're in Navasana, boat pose. You want to keep that length of the spine. So looking up and lifting the chest up to the sky helps a whole lot. Squeeze those inner thighs together. That's part of your core. And then lower down so that you hover the feet away from the mat. Reach the arms all the way up and then lift the legs up. So arms reach up and legs lift up. And then bring the hands toward the feet, feet toward the hands. And then lower the feet, reach the arms back behind you. And we're doing this a few times. Bring the hands and the feet back together. And then extend. Get as long as you can. Arms reach over the back of the mat, feet reach over the top of the mat. Bring it all back in. Long legs, long arms. Extend. Get low. Bring it all back together. Extend, get low. This time, reach the arms forward, palms face up, come back to Navasana. So squeezing those inner thighs, lifting the chest up. And then from here, Ardha Navasana. Navasana, Ardha Navasana. One more time, Navasana, Ardha. Back to Navasana. Woo. And then just come to an easy cross-legged seat, sitting up tall. Move side to side so you feel even on the sit bones underneath you. And we'll take a really gentle twist. You can bring the fingertips on the mat, open the chest to the left, and just come like 3/4 of the way into the twist. Sit up as tall as you can, pressing down into those sit bones. And then start to come back to center, go the other way. Use the fingertips that you have to sit up taller as you guide the chest open to the right. Gentle twist. Back to center. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Bring the hands down in front of you. Find a hip opening. So as you start to fold forward, you're putting more weight on the hip opening. Sometimes you can stay seated upright and you get enough of a hip opening there. So it's really up to you how far you go, but this is our first one. So you take it easy. When we get to the end of our practice, you can definitely go a little bit further, but we want to be gentle with the hips, even though it's a tough place to get into. So many different tiny little muscles in that area that tighten up. And the joint tends to stiffen up over time. So this movement is so important to keep that mobility. And start to walk the hands in, bring the hands back behind you, lean back, switch the crossing of the legs. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, maybe you come forward, see where this hip needs you to be. Walk the hands back in, bring the hands back behind you. Separate the feet hip to the edges of the mat, and then let the knees go side to side. So feet are wide, knees are going side to side like windshield wipers. And we'll come forward back to hands and knees. This time coming into downward facing dog. So get those shoulders back behind the wrist, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. This should feel like a pretty good stretch on the legs at this point. Heels are going down toward the mat, but they don't have to touch. Then make sure you're hiding the heels. So they should be behind the balls of the feet. You shouldn't be able to see them. So it's almost like you're kicking them out a little bit. Then pushing the mat away from you, getting the shoulders as far back as you can away from the wrists, lifting the hips up and back, hugging the belly in. Right foot steps up between the hands, runner's lunge. So feet are hip width distance apart. Set that back knee down. You can tuck the toes or keep them untucked, whichever one feels better. Dig into that right heel, reach the arms all the way up. On the exhale, cactus the arms. It's like you're bringing the elbows down and back on the exhale. Then inhale, reach up 2 more times with the breath. Exhale, cactus the arms, elbows down and back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, elbows down and back. This time, inhale, reach up. Bring the hands back down to the mat. Back toes tuck, lift the back knee, back to downward facing dog. Left foot steps up between the hands. Right knee, set it down gently. Reach the arms forward and all the way up. Take a big inhale, get that length on the exhale, cactus the arms, elbows down and back. 2 more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring the elbows down and back. Inhale, reach up. Bring the hands down to the mat, straight back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, walk or step, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. 2 more like that. Inhale up halfway, reach the heart forward. Exhale, fold. Last one. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. This time we're coming all the way up. Circle the arms all the way up to standing. Bring the hands together, down in front of the heart. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Point the knuckles back behind you. Lift and spread the chest. Feel even in the legs. And then start to put a little bend in the knees. So you're still standing upright, tiny bend in the knees. Fold forward, knuckles go back behind the head. So getting into the shoulders again. If the shoulders are dumping down into the ears, pull them away. And it's up to you how straight the legs are. You just need to feel your way into it, not pushing too hard. Hips are over the heels, which means the balls of the feet are a little heavier. Then bring the hands back down to the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. We're coming back up. Circle the arms all the way back up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Interlace the fingers behind the back, 1 finger over this time. So the unusual way. Point the knuckles back behind you, lift the chest, little bend in the knees, same thing as before. Fold over the legs, knuckles go back behind the head. Up to you how straight the legs get once you're down. Shoulders away from the ears. Let the head and the neck go. Hands come down to the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat, bend the knees, step back to plank pose. Lower all the way down to the mat slowly. Inhale up, Cobra, maybe a little higher. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, hug that belly in, start to step, hop, bring the feet up between the hands. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Traditional Surya A. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose. Lower down halfway, chaturanga. Chest is open, shoulders back. Rise up for your back bend, probably up dog, unless you want Cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Lift the hips up high, hug the belly in, bring the feet forward really lightly. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up to standing. Bring the hands together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose. Lower down on the exhale with control, chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. One more cycle. Bend the knees, look forward, feet light as a feather, step them up to the top of the mat or lightly hop. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to standing. Bring the hands together at the top, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose. Lower down on the exhale with control, chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up and back. So three-legged down dog. Bring the knee to the nose on the inhale. So you have to hug the core in, lift the foot up as high as you can. Come back to three-legged down dog. Shoot that right leg up and back. This time, step the right foot all the way through up between the hands. We're coming to reverse warrior. Spin that left heel down flat, windmill the arms up, but that right arm just keeps going up and back. Keep sending that right knee straight forward. And then reach away from the right knee. Right forearm, right thigh, left arm reaches up and over. Batakanasana, extended side angle. So make sure you have some weight in that back leg. You're driving it through the mat behind you, underneath you. Up to warrior two. Take your time, legs stay the same. Straighten the front leg, bring the hands to the hips. Turn those right toes in to face the side of the mat. And then fold forward halfway with the hands on the hips, bring the hands down in front of you. Heels in, toes out. Toes just go out like halfway. We always want to make sure the knees and the toes are going in the same direction, and we can all open up our feet wider than the knees. You'll just go side to side. So bend the left knee, straighten the right leg. You're not going down real deep. It's a really light skandasana. And then you'll go straighten the left leg, bend the right. Back and forth a few times. Next time you end up with the right leg bent, stay there. Walk the hands to the top of the mat, come back to your lunge, step back, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up and back, knee to nose, scoop the belly, round the spine. Exhale back, three-legged down dog. Left leg goes up and back. This time, step the left foot all the way through, up between the hands. Spin that right heel down flat, heel to arch or heel to heel. Reverse warrior. So a little different coming straight into reverse warrior from the mat. Get that left thigh long. You want to feel like the left knee's pointing over the second and third toe. So if you feel like it's going inside the big toe, move it toward the pinky toe side of the foot. Left forearm, left thigh, reach the right arm up and over, drive down through that right leg, not just the left. Warrior two. Head right over the hips. Straighten the front leg, bring the hands to the hips, turn those left toes in. Fold forward halfway, bring the hands down in front of the shoulders. Heels in, toes out, same thing we did before, just bending one leg, straightening the other, going side to side a few times, keeping it light and easy, whatever that means for your body right now. So hips could be higher, maybe they're coming down a little lower, that's fine. Next time the left knee bends and the right leg straightens, stay there. Turn to face forward, coming back into a lunge, hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Hold dog for 5 breaths or take a vinyasa, it's up to you. Gliding forward on the inhale. Working through your back bend and back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Bend the knees, reach the arms up. Utkatasana. Belly hugs in, chest lifts up. Hips go low. Press up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. So keep the hands right in front of the heart, feet hip width distance apart. Find a focal point straight in front of you. Make sure those legs are feeling really strong and start to shift the weight over to the right foot. See if you can bend the left leg, bringing the left heel up toward the glute. Maybe you point that left foot and reach back, grab for the foot, right arm can reach up. So we did this couple different ways. We did it lying on our stomach to start, and then we did this with the right knee down in a modified side plank. So lengthen that left thigh away from you, reach up with the right arm if you have the foot. Straps are nice for this too if the foot and the hand aren't connecting. Then set that left foot back down, hands come together right in front of the heart. So back to standing Tadasana with the hands together in front of you. Stay with that focal point, both legs really strong. Start to shift the weight over to the left foot, bend the right knee, point the foot, reach back, grab for the foot, reach that left arm up, and then lengthen the quad, lift the chest. And you can pull that foot in toward the glute and press the foot back out toward the hand at the same time. So there's some engagement there between the foot and the hand. And then let the foot go, come back to standing, hands come together right in front of the heart. Bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold, straighten the legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back to plank pose, down dog or vinyasa on the way. Right leg reaches up and back, 3-legged down dog. Knee to nose. Exhale back, 3-legged down dog. Step that right foot all the way through, up between the hands. Spin the left heel down flat, reverse warrior. Good. Exhale forward, right forearm, right thigh, left arm reaches up and over. Warrior two. Straighten the front leg, bring the hands to the hips, turn those right toes in. So facing the side of the mat. This time, reach the arms out wide. So you're standing with the feet wide and the arms wide. Right fingertips, left ankle, or somewhere near there. It doesn't have to touch. Come back up to center where we started. Keep the arms wide. Go slow on the transition so you don't get dizzy and also so you still feel that strength. Left hand, right ankle. Slow twist. Legs are strong. Back up to center, nice and slow. One more time each side. Take your time with it. Right hand, left ankle. Back up to the top. Left hand, right ankle. Back up to the top. This time, angle in the right toes. Turn the left toes all the way out. So you're facing the back of the mat this time. You can shorten the stance if you'd like for triangle. Reach that left arm forward. Feel the hips shift back. Left arm comes down. Right arm reaches up. Trikonasana. Lift the muscles in both legs. Hug the core in, open up across the chest. Right hand comes to the right hip. Look down at that left foot. Bend the left knee a lot. Reach forward ahead of the left pinky toe. So the thumb is right in line with the pinky or somewhere near there. Start to take a couple of hops forward and press that right leg up and back. So you're coming into half moon, but that right leg is engaged all the way out through the sole of the foot. Reach the right arm up. See how that feels. You hug the core in and you open up across the chest, pressing out through both legs. Then bend the standing leg, reach back with the right foot, come back to reverse warrior. Reach that left arm up and back. Straighten the front leg, hands come to the hips, turn those left toes in so you're facing the side of the mat. Keep angling the left toes in, turn the right toes out. Warrior two facing the top of the mat this time. Windmill the hands down to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Hold dog for 5 breaths or optional vinyasa. You choose them. Take them only when they make sense for you and when they add to your practice, not take away. Left leg reaches up and back. Knee to nose on the inhale. Exhale back, 3-legged down dog. Step that left foot all the way through. Spin the right heel down flat. Reverse warrior. Left forearm, left thigh. Right arm reaches up and over. Warrior two. Straighten the front leg, hands to the hips. Turn those left toes in so they face the side of the mat. Reach the arms out wide. Right hand, left ankle. Back to standing, nice and slow. Left hand, right ankle. Back up to standing, nice and slow. Other side, right hand, left ankle. Back up to standing. Left hand, right ankle. Back up to standing. Angle in the left toes, turn the right toes out, facing the back of the mat. You can shorten your stance here if you'd like for triangle. Reach that right arm forward, hip shift back, right arm down, left arm up, Trikonasana. So getting long lines through the legs, through the arms, feeling the energy work throughout the whole body. Left hand, left hip. Look down at the right foot. Bend the right knee as much as you can. Reach that right hand as far forward as you can ahead of the right pinky toe. Keep hugging that outer right hip in. Start to shift the weight forward. Press out through that left heel to lift the left leg up. And then when you're ready, reach the left arm up. Open up across the chest. Press out through both feet, hugging the core in. And that right hip is right over the right ankle, so it's not swinging out to the right. Start to bend the right knee a lot. Reach back with that left foot as much as you can. Reverse warrior. Right arm reaches up and back. Straighten the front leg. Bring the hands to the hips. Turn those right toes in, facing the side of the mat. Keep angling in the right toes. Turn the left toes out. Warrior two, back to the top of the mat. Windmill the hands down to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Stay here or choose to take a vinyasa. Bend the knees, look forward, feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Weights in the heels, whole body's working. Feel the back sides of the legs turn on as well as the front side. Press all the way up to standing. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Even out through both legs. Lift up through the upper body, lower body goes down to the mat. Find that focal point. Shift the weight over to the right foot, bend the left leg, stand tall. And then maybe you reach back, grab for that left foot, reaching the right arm up. Press the foot into the hand back into the foot. Then gently set the left foot down, hands together in front of the heart. Shifting over to the left leg, bend the right leg. Reach back, see if the foot's there. Left arm can reach up. Get long. So you're pushing down through that left leg to reach up through the left arm. Right foot and hand pressing into one another. Gently release the right foot back down. Hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, down dog or vinyasa. Right leg lifts up and back. Knee to nose on the inhale. Back to three-legged down dog. Right foot stubs all the way up between the hands. Spin the left heel down flat. Reverse warrior. Keep that lunge in the front leg. Right forearm, right thigh. Left arm reaches up and over. Warrior two. Straighten the front leg, hands come to the hips, turn those right toes in. So just once each side this time. Reach the arms out wide. Bring the left hand to the right ankle. Back up to standing. Right hand, left ankle. back up to standing. Angle in the right toes, turn the left toes all the way out. Maybe shorten your stance. So left foot facing the back of the mat. Reach forward, hip shift back, left arm down, right arm up for triangle. Fire up the legs and the core here. Get that width across the chest. Keep all of that. Bend the left knee, right hand to right hip. Reach forward ahead of the pinky toe. You can even shift forward onto the ball or the big toe of the back foot. And then start to lift the right leg up, coming into your Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Maybe the right arm reaches up. So probably on fingertips on that left hand, you could even be on a block, but get light and maybe you lift up so that you're only on 1 or 2 fingertips, or maybe the hands even hover away from the mat. Bend that right leg, point the big toes, maybe reach back, see if the foot's there. You might need to lift the hand away from the mat to do that. If that happens, press the foot into the hand back into the foot. Left sit bone points straight back. Keep reaching the chest forward, hugging the core in. So Chapasana can always be in half moon if it's not working out. Gently release the foot if you have it. Bend the standing leg. Reach back with the sole of the right foot. Reverse warrior. Send that left knee forward. Reach up and back. Straighten the front leg. Hands to the hips. Turn those left toes in. Keep angling them in. Turn the right toes out. Warrior 2 facing the top of the mat. Windmill the hands down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Hold for 5 breaths or take a vinyasa. Left leg reaches up and back. Knee to nose on the inhale. Exhale back, 3-legged down dog. Step that left foot all the way through. Right heel down flat, reverse warrior. Forearm to thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Extended side angle. Warrior 2. Straighten the front leg, hands to the hips, turn those left toes in, facing the side of the mat. Arms out wide, right hand, left ankle. Slowly back up to standing with control. Left hand, right ankle. Back up to standing, take your time. Angle in the left toes, turn the right toes out so you're facing the back of the mat, maybe shorten the stance, triangle pose. Look down at the right foot. Bend the right knee, reach forward ahead of the pinky toe and start to shift the weight forward to the right foot. When you're ready, half moon, press out through that outer left foot to lift the leg. Inner thighs are working, belly hugs in, open up across the chest. And you want to be light as you can in that bottom hand. It might help to keep a fingertip or 2 down on the mat for this next transition. Bend the left knee, reach back. See if the foot and the hand connect without too much force. And if they do, press the hand into the foot into the hand. Keep reaching the chest forward. Chapasana. Back to half moon. Bend the standing leg, reach back with that left foot, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up and back. Bring the hands to the hips. Turn those right toes in, left toes out, warrior 2 facing the top of the mat. Windmill the hands down to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Last vinyasa if you want one, otherwise hold dog. Once you get to downward facing dog, glide forward to plank pose. Lower all the way down to the mat. So you're lying down onto your stomach. Tops of the feet come to the mat. Bring the right forearm in front of the face, bend the right leg, reach back, grab for that right foot. So one last quad opening. You can rest the head this time on the forehead, or on the forearm. And switch sides. Keep the knees next to one another. Then release the left foot. So both feet down on the mat, reach back. So palms are facing one another, press into the tops of the feet, lift and spread the chest. Tailbones pointing back behind you. Arms are strong. They're squeezing, the hands are squeezing together. Now bend both legs and lift the thighs up as high as you can. Keep reaching the heart forward. Keep squeezing the hands together. And gently release, set the feet back down, make a pillow with the hands, turn the head to one side. So it probably doesn't look like a big movement, but it definitely feels like a big movement, using so many muscles to make that happen. And you don't have the leverage of hanging onto the feet just yet. So come back to center with the gaze, reach the arms back behind you, press into the tops of the feet, lift and spread the chest, keep squeezing the hands together, hover the feet away from the mat, bend the knees, maybe the ankles or the tops of the feet are right there. And then you press into the feet, lift the legs, lift the chest on your asana. You don't want those knees going out wider than hip width distance. You can always skip it and do what we were doing before. Gently release, set the feet back down onto the mat, make a pillow with the hands, turn the head the other way. And we're doing one more. Bring the tops of the feet hip width distance, pressing down into the mat, reach the arms back behind you, reach the chest forward as you lift it, maybe hover the feet, maybe bend the legs, maybe grab for the ankles or the feet. See if you can get them at the same time. And then lift up, Dhanurasana. You can rock a little bit. One more inhale and exhale. Set it all down. Rest the head on top of the hands and let the feet go. Bend the legs. You can move the feet side to side like windshield wipers. And then set the feet back down onto the mat. Bring the hands down to the mat. Come up to hands and knees and take a child's pose. But this child's pose, let's bring the knees and the feet all the way together. Sit back onto the heels. Let the forehead come down. Bring the arms back behind you. So backs of the hands rest outside of the feet on the mat. Bring the hands underneath you, lift the head and the chest, bring the feet over to one side, come to seated on the mat, legs out in front of you. Probably need to scoot forward so the hips are in the center of the mat. And then bring this left foot in pretty close. You might need to use the hands to get the foot pretty close to the body. Fist width distance between the foot and the thigh. Wrap the right arm around this left knee and then interlace the fingers. So fingers are clasped, and then sit up as tall as you can, pressing into both sit bones and open up the chest and the gaze back behind you. So what's nice is with the clasp of the hands, you can press that outer left knee into the arm and the arm back into the knee, and you can pull the arms apart at the same time. And that'll help you get that lift in the spine as you twist. Right toes are still pointing up and you're breathing. Both sit bones are being pressed into in the same way, same amount. And you'll slowly bring the gaze back forward, unwind, bring the left leg out in front of you, and the right foot comes in. Bring it in pretty close, fist width distance. Wrap this left arm around the bent leg, interlace the fingers, hold the hands together, sit up as tall as you can, pressing into the both sit bones, and start to open the chest to the right, gazing in the direction you want the chest to twist in. Keeps happening. Slowly start to bring the gaze back forward, unwind the torso, bring the legs out in front of you. So let's take Batakanasana, soles of the feet together, knees wide. The closer the feet are into the body, the more intense this is. So figure out where you need to be. Shift side to side, make sure that the sit bones are even, sitting up tall. You can grab the ankles, although if the inner edges of the feet are right there, grab those and then just open up the soles of the feet like you're trying to show the sky, the soles of the feet. So they're going up. And then start to lift the chest as high as you can. Keep this length in the spine, so no rounding of the upper back. You can start to hinge forward to put more weight on the hip opening. Some of you, the elbows will flare out and you can rest the elbows on the legs. Close the eyes wherever you are. Keep the hips underneath you, not going back behind you. Start to come back up. Use the hands to bring the knees back together. Extend the legs out in front of you. Toes up. Reach the arms all the way up. And on your next exhale, fold over the legs. Last forward fold. Slowly come back up to seated. Decide if you'd like to take Shavasana on your back or stay up for a seated meditation. Completely up to you. Just come into stillness, whatever you decide to do. Close the eyes. And start to drop in. No expectations, just experiencing the quiet. The pose is still moving through you. Taking in any sounds around you. If you're in your seated meditation, you'll stay right there. If you're on your back in Shavasana, start to find some movement in the hands and the feet. Reach the arms overhead, find a stretch. Making your way onto your right side, cradling the head and the arm. Eyes stay closed the whole time if you can. Using the hands, bring yourself up to your meditation seat. All coming together in this one moment. Bring the hands together in front of you. Maintaining the lift of the chest, bow the head, taking a moment to honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up, blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I love teaching this class and we'll continue doing it as long as there's an audience. So I really appreciate you.